I'm going to tell you something very important. Maybe the most important. It's the actual meaning of numbers. This is actually at the core of maybe every religious and esoteric tradition. The heart of Judaism as the Kabbalah. In the Bible is the tree of life. There's meaning to all those numbers as the ages of people in Genesis at the very beginning. Really, the meaning of numbers is simple, but you can contemplate it endlessly to your own benefit and experience a lot of positive connection with the loving source of your existence. Remember when I mentioned the Trinity as being everything we can be aware of tangibly, awareness itself, and then the loving source of both of those things? It's like a kindergarten version of the sacred meaning of numbers, 0 through 10. So let's start where we really started, 0, the state of not knowing. 0 is a lack. It's not a something, it's a lack of our ability to comprehend what it is. It's the most profound wisdom. The most profound teachers of all ages have told us that the most profound thing that they know is that they don't know. 0 is the beginning. And as a symbol that represents something which we can experience, in fact, the essential quality of our experience, it represents temporal space. Not outer space, but the space that we're in. It's here in this moment, but we can't think of it on its own. Everything is made of space, filling space, everything we experience. But we can't think of it on its own. Somewhere in that space, in this 0, there had to be a line drawn, a point made, position for us to be seeming to be like we seem to be, right? That's 1. Somewhere in infinite unknowing, there was a starting point. 1. There's a lot of misconception about 1, because you can't break 1 down into smaller parts. The decimal system is just the numbers 1 through 9 on a lower octave. But 1 combines to make everything. 2 is just 2 ones. So when people said that all is 1, that's what they meant. Many ones. I mean, depending on where you look at it, you can say we're one society. A lot of people think that we're one consciousness that hasn't fully realized that yet. I've talked to a lot of these people. They think that the solution to our problems is to make all of humanity have one mind, to be one thinking being. But a lot of these people don't seem as lovingly motivated as they could be. Why aren't they satisfied with things as they seem to be? That they want us all to be one mind. That sounds like the Tower of Babel to me. So all is 1 in the sense that 3 is 3 ones and 4 is 4 ones, and we're one society made up of many 1 humans. And animals. And who knows? But you can't say anything about 1 on its own, because there's nothing to relate it to. It's just 1. When you have 2, at least you can say that there's something to be aware of and something to be aware. You can have the beginnings of things like love, relation. I think 2 is a good thing, but it's unity manifested through duality. 3? You have the beginnings of what they call plane geometry, have a surface. We still can't really conceive of this. This still isn't anything we can experience in the actual world. It's still just ideas. But at least when you have 3, you can say that one point is closer to another point than it is to the other. You know, you can start saying things like closer and farther. Because when you just have 2, you know, a line between 2, it's just, you can't say it's close or far because it's the only thing. With 3, start getting things like closer, farther, better, worse. Now with 4, we start to get more tangible. Because if you have 3 points on a plane and 1 point that's not on that plane and you connect them, you have a solid object, matter. You can have a point in this space that has a location. It can be here or it can be here based off of its relation to the other points. I personally like matter. I can't conceive of an existence without it. 5. Lots of misconception about 5. Because if all you have is, you know, matter, it's just sitting there. 5 is movement. To have a point go from here to here. But the only way you can have movement, the only way you can have change, dynamics, is in time. Movement, the number 5, it implies time. We're in a moment in time. But change is a result of it. And because of our past experiences in time, we're able to define ourselves as individuals. We can have perspective. That's number 6. Individual perspective. An individual, the term is microcosm. A mini trinity in a greater trinity. In a greater trinity, with infinite trinities above and below for all we know. Because we started in 0 and we don't know. But thanks to 5, change, and time, we're able to seem to exist. Now 7 is bliss. It's nirvana. It's enlightenment. It's the Garden of Eden. It's an individual person's idea of bliss. It's being in the moment, as the lingo goes. Just the natural state of being and experiencing that state of being. Being satisfied with it. Number 7 is maybe the reason that 1 stepped out of 0. But don't stop there. Because the number 8 is thought. And a lot of people think that it takes away from the number 7, that it distracts you from the state of being satisfied to think of other things that are possibilities. But 8 is how we can realize that we don't know. Is how we can know where we're coming from. Infinite unknowing, which implies infinite possibility. Our thoughts are our path through that possibility. We can actually affect what our state of being in the moment is like because of our thoughts. So we don't just have to blow on the wind if it's blowing in a bad direction. We can change the direction of that wind, or we can step into another flow, or we can create our own. The number is 8. It's related to Jesus and a lot of other really positive things. It's thought, and it's how we direct ourselves through possibility to have the best existence in the moment. The number 9, I'll let you explore yourself. It's feelings and intuition. It's how we can feel love. I think that that is probably the reason that 1 stepped out of 0. At least from my perspective. Number 10, that's this world. It's the kingdom. It's where we're living. It's where we've always lived. And we shouldn't be running away from it because it's full of infinite possibility. We have no one but ourselves to blame if it's not what we want it to be. Not ourselves as individuals, but ourselves as a whole society. The sacred meaning of the numbers 0 through 10 is, like I said, the core of esoteric and religious traditions extending further back than we have records of. There's no end to the amount that you can contemplate it and have positive things in your life be the result. But it seems that some people don't want other people to be doing that. If you try and look up this information on the internet, you'll find a bunch of weird stuff that's not really talking about it at all. I know, I've tried. If you want to learn more, a good book is The Dimensions of Paradise. Talks about this stuff. Or the Bible. Or the Kabbalah. So, since the cat was already out of the bag and people were making misconceptions about the number 1 and the number 5 and the number 7, I figured just clear some things up. I mean, because I don't know anything for sure, and I admit that. I try and be as zero as I can. But actions are what influences the moments to come. And whatever people are thinking, I'm going to pay attention to their actions. And that's because I live here with everybody. We're roommates on this planet. There's a lot of us. And our actions influence each other in more ways than we can realize. Our actions are very far-reaching. So now that you've learned about this, you can't just forget about it. You can't just ignore it. It doesn't work that way. But share it. I love you.